The world is a mysterious place, full of strange creatures, unsolvable mysteries that will remain a puzzle to humankind. One of these mysteries is known as the Pleasantonian Scooter Kid, indigenous to the Pleasantonian outback. As seen in this footage here, you can see two scooter kids nestling with the skater kids. The scientific name for the scooter kids are Bonehedorius autismica. The scooter kids appear to be idle in this footage. One appears to be playing with something called a cellular device. Then, one of the scooter kids becomes less idle and starts to practice his mating tricks for the future. Soon enough, the other kid joins along, but rather slowly and hesitantly. They both get together and practice little ditties and moves for the next mating season. The more active scooter kid becomes even more active and begins to practice actual moves that he will never use in the future when he gets a life. Where the scooter kids go next is unknown. Nobody knows their purpose, nobody knows their destination, and nobody knows why they're here. Professor Mason Thomas Hurst, scientist, professor, and explorer at the University of Berkeley, California, conducts an expedition in the Pleasantonian Outback playground. In this footage before he took the expedition, you can see that there are many scooter kids in the playground area. Busily, they jump and prepare and fight and scowl as they begin to practice their little tricks for their mating calls. This is very rare footage that was just leaked to the public at 2 p.m. Mason Hurst will now begin his expedition.
So today we're going to be discussing the layers of territory of a scooter kid. Now scooter kids have very extensive territories where there are certain boundaries that could limit rescues. So right now we're in the very outer layer. This is the area where scooter kids could be present, but there's no means that they should be attacking us here. Now this is much more dangerous. Outside here is the scooter kid open field. This is where you are in the direct line of sight of scooters. You see, if I enter this area, and if you can see the scooter kids back there, now this area right here is very dangerous. They can actually spot you here, and you shouldn't be back here. We're going to be entering the much more dangerous area. This area should never be trekked upon. It's quite dangerous. You can tell there's a sign that marks it. It's over there. See the sign? This grate right here, this little man-made contraption to represent a little line of territory. So see now, right there, the scooter kids are just leaving, so this is perfect for exploration. It's idle. See the scooter kids right there, they're leaving. Now that's a thing called migration. They're migrating out of the area so that they can leave. So now we're in the most dangerous part of it. You can get beat up, run over, smacked, hit. This is the area where the action happens. This is where they play. So I'm going to pull out my Exploromatic 2000. Here, this thing is a brush sucky thing that takes samples made by the Dyson company so that you can enjoy the full Dyson experience. So let's take some samples over here. Now you want to suck. By judging the way it tastes, you can tell how old it is. If it tastes awful, like this, you can tell that this is some pretty old skid marks. These were about 10 years old. These are the much newer ones because they're much more metallic, and the new metallic of the scooters that they grow leaves off a metallic rub right here. So if we take some of that, and you can see it's starting to flake off, so you know it's new. So it tastes actually pretty okay. You can assume that this is pretty good. So this tool has helped us very well in this experiment. Sooner or later, a stampede of scooter kids might come in. They usually stampede and rest here for a while. This is one of the most vacant scooter plots there are. Check out this area right here. So this is the area where they all graze. This is the grazing area. They polish themselves. This is where all the tippity-talk action happens. All right, so we've detected a scooter male. That kind of species is very rare, so it was actually quite a privilege to see it there. Usually you just see kids going on and they eventually grow up and get lives. Sometimes you might see a couple that don't. That's an example of one. See that right there? Usually scooter children molt out of their razors around at about 8 years. It takes a while to molt them out, but once they're molted, they're just annoying.
After the ride around, Professor Hurst noticed that there are minimal scooter kids in the playground area. He decides to make a dangerous effort to go up close to the scooter kids.
So the scooter kids have encountered us. I've been a little bit injured. I tripped on their play structure. Fortunately, I was wearing boots that protect my shins. Let's get out of here. Okay, the scooter kids are a little hostile. We're gonna have to leave them alone for a little while. They're a bit aggressive. Scooter kids, they're a bit aggressive sometimes.
Professor Hurst and the scientists at the University of Berkeley, California, developed an antidote that could stop or prevent scooteritis from occurring.
They're starting to circle around me. Starting to circle around. That's the sign of territorial aggression. They're trying to make sure that they know who's boss. We're going to be exploring some new frontiers, like around here.
Although this stopped most of it, he will still have flashbacks and will still have the bumps on his leg for the rest of his life.
Alright, so this area is very indigenous to scooter kids. Oftentimes they'll climb up this fence and then go onto that roof up there and scout above for food. And sometimes they'll eat up there. This is kind of like a home base for scooter kids. However, because this territory is privately owned, on occasion scooter kids will get chased out of here, and they'll either get copped or they'll just leg it and or I guess wheel it in their standpoint and hope for the best the cops don't get them. We're going to the scooter kid breeding area.
Professor Hurst now enters the ancient scooter feeding and breeding grounds in the Pleasantonian outback. Although far away from the mainland, it provides a feeding and breeding place for the scooter kids in high proximity.
3 or 4 o'clock, whatever happens, find out. Now this area is where the scooter kids often feed and breed. Feed and breed. Kind of a two-sided thing. Let me show you the place where they usually feed. They usually breed on the very outside, but they feed around here. This is one of the areas, Arizona. This is a liquid that often scooter kids tend to drink. Arizona. Usually they take it in iced tea, but not with lemon flavor. They just have it with iced tea. Usually, it's pretty common among them. And then here is where the much older ones do. They usually take little sips of this drink right here. It's called Red Bull. Basically, this pressurized can contains a liquid that is capable of energizing them. I'm not going to take a sample with me, but you can probably get an idea of what it is. Often they'll also drink this, Monster. This company called Monster. Right here, here's a good example. Here's a 4-pack. Monster is an energy drink. It provides them with energy that they need for the day. Same with Rockstar. Right here. They usually drink that kind of stuff. Alright, now this area is a much higher tier area. See, you've got all these flavors of chips. This is where the scooter kids often get their food, their solid food sources. They get liquid food sources, and they also get solid food sources for their health. Usually, they get something that's popular. They're very popular among scooter kids, described with the word Tonkies. Now, this is kind of this is an item that's often found right here. They're very common among them. They consume them regularly, along with the drinks that I've just displayed. Sometimes they'll also consume these, known as Pringles or something. It's a little bit of a mystery to us explorers of what they eat. Pringles are what they call it. Basically, they'll consume any flavor really, but oftentimes they'll consume this flavor right here.
cheddar cheese, kung pao chicken, you name it, they'll probably eat it if it has the word Pringles on it. Over here is the candy area. This is kind of their secondary meals or desserts or whatever. They usually take them in large sizes. They take them in large sizes, like right here, the brand called Sour Patach, with the kids on it. So usually they consume these because they like that sour kick it gives them. While Professor Hurst is leaving, he makes an astonishing discovery to find a fellow scootrologist along the way.
You want to hear what the average skater says about scooter kids?
What? Hold on.
Scooter.
I'm Professor Hurst.
It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure to meet you. This is another. I think this is another professor on scootrology, correct?
Yeah.
All right, that's awesome. What do you know about scooter kids? So we're currently exploring the breeding grounds of scooter kids.
Oh well, I know a lot of scooter kids like to come over here. Some of them are more edgy than others.
Yeah.
And some of them
Edge,
like
that's what they call it. Edge.
shoplift.
Shoplift. Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I've been able to express too. They do that a lot.
If they're really edgy, but a lot of them I don't think do because scooter kids are usually pretty gay.
Yeah. That's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I'd like to say so myself.
Yes.
Usually you can see them at the skate park.
Oh, really? Yeah. That's what we just explored.
Yeah.
There wasn't very many migrating there that time, but usually they migrate there.
Probably year round.
Not year round. They usually migrate every week round. Usually every weekend. I tried exploring there, but to no avail. We just found like 2 6th graders, or younglings as they call them, like the cubs. We found a couple that haven't molted out of their razors yet.
Yes.
Yes, those are the ones.
The racing scooters.
Yeah. Professor
Moss?
Professor Moss. I'm Professor Hurst. Very nice to meet you.
It's great meeting you.
So after our little meetup with Professor Moss, we've been able to find some valuable information about scooter kids. Let's head over to a different area where they could be very common. We've now entered the less dangerous area, but more mysterious area perhaps. Scooter kids still roam here, which makes it a little bit inhabitable. But if you follow me, you'll probably find some scooter kid relics around here. Kind of a nesting place for scooter kids right here. If we come along and check out the rack over here, we can probably determine how many scooters or how old it is. So, I just saw something. Right here is some scooter kid spit. Now this can be kind of, this can be a rather indigenous. It's scooter kid spit. Usually it can be used for research purposes, so I think I'll just take that. Oops, I dropped it. Put it in the research zone. Now we've got that in the research zone, then let's check out some of the other scooter kid stuff. So none of these are important. This is the bike nesting area. What we want to look at now is right here and there. Obviously this area is rarely used because it's got a lot of rust on it. So obviously it's not used. It's more scooter spit. I'm going to take some more of that. Ooh, it's fresh. Alright, we collected some more scooter kid spit. We can use that for evidence. The area we're going to be focusing on now is right here. This area is still used. It looks rather old, but it's still pretty scooter kiddish. The scooters can be parked. The scooter handles can be parked. What I believe is between these little things right here, and they just stay there. And I'm not sure whether the scooter kids are. I think I see one right there. You see that? It's gone now, but we'll have to explore later. So now that we've seen that scooter area, we'll have to check some more down here. I've just detected a rare, not really rare, but a very useful for research. What appears to be a ramp. Now let's check the age of this ramp with our age detector. The wood appears to be about 30 years old, if you can see right there. But the nails are about, oh man, they're not even a year old. These are actually some young nails. So
Oh, it's padlocked too, so you know this is new. This is recently made, so it's got a padlock on it. Unfortunately, I didn't bring my cutting equipment, so unfortunately, I can't open the intricate. I just seem to have opened it. This must be an old padlocking system, because I've just opened it. It's got some intricate numbering on it. Scooter people, although very, let's say small in mind, have very intricate systems, like building construction tools such as this. This is, man, I don't know what to say. I'm gonna leave this here for other explorers and scientific purposes. So I'm gonna leave that here. This was a very interesting research experiment. I didn't think I'd find something like this. But yes, I'm very proud of my find.
Scientists at UC Berkeley begin their exploration on scooterology. Nick Jackson, a professor at the British University, is their archaeologist. Grigory von Skitzelkov, a Russian nuclear scientist, is their group chemist. Dr. Larson, also an employee at the University of Berkeley, California, is their computer technician. He processes things that they find and turns them into facts. Although sometimes the research does not allow them to cooperate, and some mishaps may come on, the group manages to recover and get back to their work.
Gregory, for some reason the artist monitor is going off on this scooter wheel.
What?
The artist monitor is going off on the scooter wheel. Something's wrong, for sure. Gregory? Is it because I called you Gregory?
What in women's name is this?
We have to process this immediately.
It's insecurity.
We are frauds! Nick, we are frauds! We did it!
Long live Britain!
Long live Stalin! I can go home now! I will be accepted by family!
Scooter kids will always remain a mystery. Their doings, although heavily researched, are truly unknown. Why they are here, how they are here, and what they are here for is also unknown and is an unlockable mystery for scientists around the world. In this footage here, many scooter kids were trapped in one room. Their behavior was recorded, but it is quite repetitive. Where human children enjoy playing basketball, both of them look at the entrance in a freakish manner, but finally, one of them decides to volunteer and go first. The smaller one, preferably the younger one, follows up. Intimidated, they start to do their angsty tricks and begin to make signs of territorial aggression. Finally, when no intimidation avails, they leave. 12 days after Professor Hurst made an expedition on the backgrounds of the Pleasantonian outback, another citizen caught a scooter kid on camera. This is a very amazing find because it tells of a scooter kid's defensive mechanisms.
I hacked for you! Get away! I need my fidget spinner! I need my fidget spinner! I'm in a different place. Calling up.
The scooter kid makes angsty screeching noises and begins to throw sticks from a tree. Scientists believe that this scooter kid was doing so because it was afraid of the camera flash. However, there was no camera flash, so scientists are unsure. However, the scooter kid does project violent hostility and begins to proceed so for another 10 minutes.
No! I need my fidget spinner! Ah! Ah! Free! Free! Free!
Scientists classify the violence that a scooter kid promotes to defend himself as scooter kid noises. After feeling totally harassed by the innocent bystander, the scooter kid proceeds to make a few last hisses, a few last stick throws, and proceeds to sleep on top of the tree for the rest of the night. Where he went next in the morning is unknown by scientists. However, he is still being traced down by our drones. Very recently, a new tumor among scooter kids particularly has sprung up widespread. This disease is known as a fidget spinner. The rotation muscle of the fidget spinner makes its way down to the fingers and into the arms and eventually into the brain, cutting off all circulation to the arm it was attached to. It is a debated topic for scientists whether they should find ways to remove this tumor or to leave it be on the scooter kids. Whatever option is chosen, fidget spinners, the malignant tumor, could potentially mean the end of scooter kids. But whatever the verdict, scooter kids will always be as autistic and annoying and unnecessary as they ever have. Once an accident, always an accident.